We're now looking at conditional probability. Okay, so this is going to be looking at probability that involves two variables. So for instance, let's say I took a survey of everyone in a store that I stopped in and asked them if they had an iPod, if they owned one. Okay, and then I wrote down all the numbers of if they were male or female and if they said yes or no. Let's say I had 20 guys that said they had one, 15 that said they didn't, and out of all the people that were girls, I had 11 say yes and 18 say no. Okay, so I just took a simple survey, got these numbers, and now I want to find the probability of picking something based on this data table. What helps is getting the totals. So in my survey, I interviewed 35 guys and 29 girls. People that said yes, there were 31 people who owned an iPod and 33 who did not. And then the grand total, 64. Okay, so 64 people I ran into at this store and got this information from them. Now we're going to ask a few questions. What is the probability that someone has an iPod given that the student is male? So we're going to be focusing on this. This is what's called conditional probability. You're going to know part of the information, but not all of it. So a shorter way to write that is with a vertical line. So this right here is the exact same thing as the sentence up above. So this vertical line right here is the word given. What's the probability that they have an iPod given that they're a male? So we know part of the information. We know that this person is a guy. You could also think of this as your fraction bar, this fraction bar. Okay, so we're only looking at men right here. So on our table, we're only looking right here. Okay, this, again, like I said, the fraction bar, we have to put the number of males on the bottom. Okay, we're only looking in that category, just at the 35 guys in the survey. How many had an iPod? Well, 20 of them did. Okay, so that's that probability. What if we wanted the probability that we pick a female given they don't have an iPod? I'm going to switch colors here. Now we know that we're only going to be looking at the people who don't have an iPod, so we're just looking right here. Okay, well, what's the probability that we pick a female in that green oval? Okay, well, there's 18 out of a total of 33 people who did not own an iPod. Okay, the sentence I just said out loud, we're not going to write that. The probability that you pick a female given that they don't have an iPod. Okay, let's try another problem. This one is a word problem. You're going to have one of these on the test. You'll also have one on your homework assignment. Let's say there are 100 students in 9th grade at Stanley High School. 45 are girls. 10 of these girls are not on the honor roll, and there are 66 students on the honor roll. Make a chart to organize this information so you can answer the questions below. So we're looking at a few different variables. Okay, we're looking at whether a student is on the honor roll or not on the honor roll. Okay, and then we're also looking at girls versus boys. Okay, so you can organize it a couple of different ways. You could have the honor roll on the left, or you could have honor roll across the top. I'm just randomly picking to put honor roll on the left, and then we have boys and girls here. Now we're going to fill in the chart based on what they told us in the problem. So we have a total of 100 students in the 9th grade. Where is that going to go on the chart? Okay, well, that's the grand total. Okay, so there's 100 kids in the 9th grade at this high school. There's 45 girls. Okay, well, that's the number of total girls. So that's going to go here. There's 45 girls in the class. 10 of these girls are not on the honor roll. Okay, well, if we look at that cell on the table, that's going to go right here. There's 10 girls that are not on the honor roll. That goes in that block. We have one more number. There are 66 students on the honor roll. Well, that's total. There's 66 students on the honor roll. Now it's a simple subtraction problem to fill in the rest of it. Okay, if there are 45 girls, that means there are 55 boys. If 66 kids are on the honor roll, 34 are not on the honor roll. This 10 right here allows us to fill in all the rest of them that are on the inside of the chart that are not considered totals. So let's look at this 10 right here. If 10 girls are not on the honor roll, that means 35 of them are, because there's a total of 45 girls in the class. Okay, and then we subtract this direction. There's going to be 24 boys not on the honor roll. And 31 boys on the honor roll. Now that we have this table filled in, we can easily answer these questions right here. Okay, remember this vertical line is the word given, and that's where we focus our attention, the second part of it. So probability that we pick a girl given that this person is not on the honor roll. So we're only looking at the row that is not honor roll. This is the only information we're allowed to look at. So based on that, if we're going to pick a girl, that's going to be there are 10 out of a total of 34 kids not on the honor roll. 10 girls out of those kids not on the honor roll. What about probability of picking somebody on the honor roll given that they're a boy? So now we're only looking at the boy column. Okay, the 31, the 24, and the 55. So probability of being on the honor roll out of the total number of boys. What about the probability of picking a girl? There's no vertical line here. Okay, when you don't have a vertical line, you're looking at the total numbers. Okay, so probability of picking a girl, where we know there's 45 girls out of the total of 100 kids in the 9th grade. Okay, so when you don't see this vertical given bar right here, you're looking at everybody in the sample. Okay, probability that you pick a boy and this boy is not on the honor roll. No vertical line. So that means we're looking at everybody in the class, but we want to pick the boys not on the honor roll. Boys not on the honor roll is right here. Okay, so you got to look for that vertical line. The big part is just getting the table filled in, and the rest of it kind of falls into place. All right, so on this one, this is similar to one of your homework questions that you're about to do. The first thing you're going to want to do on that homework assignment is get all of your totals. Okay, so I'm going to fill in these total numbers so you can follow along with me. All I'm doing is simply adding the columns and the rows. And the total is 204. Once you have that, I'm going to ask you some probability questions below each table on the homework. Okay, well, now that we have our numbers, we can start plugging away at these. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to fill these in. Okay, you've had 1 minute. I'll give you 1 more minute. Finish up all of those 6 problems and we'll go through them together on the following slides. I'm going to stop you a little bit early from your 2-minute time limit. We're going to look at each of these individually. So the first one I asked you was the probability that you pick something that's recycled given that it's a piece of glass. Okay, so again, we focus our attention here. That's going to be the only place we look. So we're only looking at the glass items. Okay, well in that oval right there, the recycled ones, 3 out of 13. Okay, so that's the answer for the first one. Number 2, probability that we pick something that's plastic if I tell you it's not recycled. So now our focus is on not recycled. Well, if we look in that green oval, the plastic amount is 19 out of the total 159. Moving on to number 3. Probability of picking a not recycled item if I tell you it is plastic. So now we're just looking at the plastic items. So there's 21 for our total, the not recycled, 19. I think you're probably getting the hang of it by now. On this one, we're focusing on the other items. We want to pick the probability of something that's recycled out of the total in the other category. Okay, and just to make sure that you don't get on that cycle of just circling something and then not using the 204, there's going to be some questions like this mixed in. What's the probability that we would pick something that's glass? Well, there's nothing that's a vertical line or given, so we aren't looking at just a smaller portion of this information. We're looking at all of the glass items. So this is going to be 13 out of the total 204. And let's look at number 6. Probability that we pick something that's paper and recycled. Again, no given vertical bar. So we have paper and recycled, which is 26 out of the total 204. That's not a conditional probability question. That's a regular probability question. All right. At the bottom of this slide, I would like you to add these 2 probability questions. So write those 2 down and also find the probabilities. So I'll give you about 30 seconds. All right, hopefully you got the following answers. Okay, remember the items after the given line define what your bottom number is going to be, and it focuses your attention on just those items. So the homework is going to be just like this.